Indeed, the prayer prohibits immorality and wrongdoing, and the remembrance of Allah is greater. Surah Al-Ankabut 29:45. Imagine having a personal assistant that never sleeps, one that reminds you pray on time, corrects your Quran recitation, and even answers your Islamic questions instantly. Sounds like a dream, right? But here's the real question. Can artificial intelligence truly help us strengthen our connection with Allah, or is it just another digital distraction pulling us away from sincere worship? The answer might surprise you. Let's dive in. AI can remind you to pray, but only your heart can truly connect with Allah. As Ramadan approaches, many of us look for ways to strengthen our faith and stay consistent in our worship. But let's be honest, staying on top of our ibadah in today's fast-paced world is tough. With constant distractions and responsibilities, it's easy to lose track of prayer times, struggle with Quran recitation, or forget to make dua. Now, AI is promising to help. From smart prayer reminders to AI-powered Quran tutors, technology is evolving rapidly. But is this truly beneficial for our deen, or is it a step toward losing the personal connection with Allah? In this video, we'll explore how AI can support Islamic learning, its limitations, and the dangers we must be aware of. Let's be real. How many times have you missed a prayer because you were busy? How often do you plan to read the Quran, but struggle to stay consistent? Or maybe you wanted to learn Arabic, but the process feels overwhelming. These are struggles nearly every Muslim faces at some point. Even those with the sincerest intentions sometimes find themselves falling short. And the worst part? The guilt that follows. The feeling of knowing you should be doing more. Yet somehow, life keeps pulling you in different directions. It starts subtly. One day, you tell yourself you'll pray ASR after finishing work. The next day, you delay Maghrib because you're stuck in traffic. Before you know it, missing prayers becomes a habit rather than an exception. The same thing happens with reading the Quran. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into next week, then next month. And suddenly, Ramadan is around the corner, and you realize you haven't opened the Quran in months. Why does this happen? Why do we struggle to stay consistent in our deen despite knowing its importance? The reality is, in today's digital world, we are more connected to our devices than ever, yet we struggle to stay connected to Allah. Think about your daily routine. The moment you wake up, what's the first thing you do? For many, the answer is check their phone. Notifications flood in. WhatsApp messages, emails, social media updates. It's an instant flood of distractions before the day has even begun. Hours pass, scrolling through news feeds, watching videos, replying to messages. And in the middle of all this, where does our faith stand? We set reminders for meetings, deadlines, and even grocery lists. But when it comes to prayer, we rely on memory. And unfortunately, that memory often fails us when we're too consumed by worldly tasks. Social media, work, entertainment, all compete for our time. Every app, every platform is designed to hold our attention for as long as possible. They pull us in with endless notifications, autoplay videos, and algorithms that know exactly how to keep us engaged. It's a battle, a constant tug-of-war between what the dunya offers and what our souls truly need. And let's be honest, the dunya is loud. It screams for attention. It demands immediate action. Your boss wants a report by the end of the day. Your friend is waiting for a reply. The latest news update is flashing on your screen. Meanwhile, your heart whispers, don't forget your prayer. Read some Quran today. Make dua. But that whisper is so easily drowned out. This struggle is not new. Even before the age of smartphones, Muslims face distractions. The Prophet Muhammad once mentioned a companion who would get distracted by his beautiful garden while praying. If something as simple as a lush garden could pull someone's attention away from Salah, imagine what social media, Netflix, and endless notifications are doing to us today. But here's the thing. Our connection with Allah is the one thing that gives true peace. The moment we start neglecting our faith, we feel in our hearts. Life starts feeling heavier. Anxiety creeps in. That sense of fulfillment we chase in worldly things never lasts. A new phone, a promotion, a vacation. No matter how exciting, the joy fades. But the tranquility that comes from Salah, from reciting the Quran, from making sincere dua, that feeling is different. It lingers. It strengthens you. It gives you a sense of purpose that nothing else can provide. Yet, despite knowing this, why do we still struggle? Why is it so hard to remain consistent? One of the biggest reasons is lack of discipline. Unlike work deadlines or school assignments, Salah doesn't come with immediate consequences if missed. You won't get fired for skipping far. No one will call you out for neglecting Quran recitation. The consequences are spiritual and long-term, making it easier to delay. Another reason is the illusion of time. We always think we have more time. I'll pray in 5 minutes. I'll read Quran tonight. I'll start making dua more often next week. But days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months. And before we realize it, we've drifted so far that coming back feels overwhelming. Then, there's a mindset of all or nothing. Many people think, if I can't pray all 5 prayers perfectly, why bother? Or if I miss one day of Quran recitation, I failed, so I might as well stop. This is a dangerous trap. Shaitan wants us to believe that small efforts don't matter. But in reality, Allah loves consistency, even in small actions. The Prophet said, the most beloved deeds to Allah are those that are consistent, even if they are small. Bukhari and Muslim. So how do we overcome these challenges? The first step is recognizing that consistency is a journey, not a destination. You won't wake up one day suddenly perfect in your ibadah. It's something you work on daily. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. The key is to keep going, no matter what. The second step is making faith a priority rather than an afterthought. Imagine if you treated Salah like an important work meeting, something that cannot be rescheduled, no matter what. What if you approach Quran recitation the way you approach checking your phone every morning? It all comes down to priorities. The third step is building habits that make consistency easier. If you struggle with FAR, set multiple alarms, sleep earlier, and place your prayer mat where you can see it. If reading the Quran daily feels hard, start with just 5 minutes. Once you build momentum, it becomes second nature. And most importantly, make dua. Ask Allah to help you stay consistent. Ask Him to keep your heart firm in faith. The Prophet himself would frequently make the dua, O turn our hearts, keep my heart firm upon your religion. Tirmidhi, if the best of creation needed to ask for steadfastness, how much more do we? Staying consistent in our deen is a daily effort. Some days will be easy and others will be challenging. But remember this, every single prayer, every single ayah, every single act of worship brings you closer to Allah. And at the end of the day, isn't that the ultimate goal? No matter how far you may feel, no matter how inconsistent you've been, it's never too late to start again. Take that first step today. Even if it's just one extra prayer on time, one verse of Quran, or one sincere dua. Because every effort counts, and Allah sees every single one of them. The question is, will you take that step today? Technology is neither inherently good nor bad. It is a tool, and how we use it determines its impact on our lives. AI has the potential to assist us in our journey of faith, but also presents challenges that require careful consideration. As Muslims, we must navigate this new digital age with wisdom, ensuring that while we benefit from technology, we do not let it define or control our spiritual lives. AI can serve as a means to an end, helping us structure our daily lives in ways that prioritize our faith. With features like automated prayer reminders, Quran learning apps, and AI-driven Islamic knowledge platforms, technology can remove some of the barriers that make consistency in worship difficult. However, it is crucial to recognize that these tools are not replacements for sincerity, ikhlas, discipline, and personal effort in worship. A prayer app can remind you of Salah, but it cannot instill in you the love for standing before Allah. A Quran recitation tool can correct your pronunciation, but it cannot give you the spiritual depth of sitting with a scholar and understanding the divine words on a deeper level. AI can provide information, but it cannot replace the feeling of tranquility and connection that comes from seeking knowledge through human interaction, discussion, and contemplation. One of the greatest risks of AI and faith-based practices is the danger of over-reliance. Imagine if you only prayed because an app reminded you. What happens when your phone runs out of battery or you switch off notifications? Does that mean your commitment to Salah weakens? This is a critical concern because Islam is a religion of conscious effort, not passive automation. The companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not rely on technological reminders to maintain their faith. They built strong habits through discipline, sincere intention, and love for Allah. They woke up for far not because an alarm told them to, but because their hearts were connected to the importance of prayer. If we become too dependent on technology for our spiritual growth, we risk weakening our personal sense of responsibility. This is why we must use AI as an aid, not as a crutch. Let it support our efforts, but never let it replace them. The Prophet, peace be upon him, emphasize the importance of making sincere dua, seeking knowledge with effort, and striving for closeness to Allah through personal sacrifice. No AI-driven software can replicate the internal struggle of overcoming laziness to wake up for the Hajj or the deep reflection that comes from sitting quietly with the Quran, pondering over its verses. Faith is not meant to be effortless. If worship were simply about convenience, there would be no test in it. The true beauty of faith lies in the effort we put into it. When a person wakes up before dawn to pray despite their exhaustion, that struggle itself holds immense reward. When someone learns Arabic to understand the Quran directly rather than relying on AI-powered translations, the patience and perseverance they exhibit become part of their spiritual growth. While AI can assist in making certain aspects of worship more accessible, it should never replace the process of striving. Islam is built on sincerity, personal intention, and self-discipline. If we reach a point where AI becomes a shortcut for acts of worship, we risk losing the deeper spiritual benefits that come from struggling for the sake of Allah. For example, reading a dua from an AI-generated suggestion is beneficial, but crafting your own supplication from the depth of your heart holds a far greater impact. When we make dua, we express our dependence on Allah, our hopes, fears, and gratitude. A machine cannot replicate the sincerity of a believer pouring their heart out to their Creator. Islam teaches us that everything in this world is a test, including the advancements of technology. Allah has given us intellect and free will, allowing us to use technology for good or fall into heedlessness due to its distractions. The internet, for example, can be a means of acquiring knowledge, but it can also lead to procrastination and wasting time on entertainment. AI is no different. The challenge we face is whether we will use AI to deepen our understanding of Islam or let it create a passive, surface-level connection to our faith. If we treat technology as a tool that enhances our pursuit of knowledge and worship, it can be a great asset. But if we allow it to replace sincerity, effort, and personal responsibility, we risk weakening our faith without even realizing it. We must ask ourselves, do we still take the time to reflect on our prayers? Or do we simply perform them because an app reminded us? Are we making genuine efforts to seek knowledge? Or are we relying on AI-generated answers without deeper contemplation? Do we feel the same connection to the Quran when reading from a screen as we do when physically holding a mushaf and reciting its verses with focus? One of the key principles of Islam is self-discipline. Allah commands us to control our desires, regulate our time, and be mindful of our actions. While AI can help with reminders and organization, true self-discipline comes from within. A person who prays far daily out of love for Allah, without needing an external push, has developed a level of self-discipline that technology can never instill. It is similar to the concept of fasting in Ramadan. We do not need an AI app to tell us not to eat while fasting. We restrain ourselves because we have a conscious awareness of Allah and the significance of our worship. This level of mindfulness, or taqwa, is what we should strive for in all aspects of our faith. AI may help facilitate religious habits, but it cannot cultivate taqwa within us. That is something we must develop through our own willpower and sincerity. The key to using AI in a way that benefits our faith is balance. We should embrace technology as a tool for learning and productivity, but remain mindful that it does not replace human effort. AI can be used to enhance our understanding of Islamic teachings through research and digital libraries, assist in Quran memorization and Tajweed correction, organize our schedules to prioritize acts of worship, provide access to knowledge through online scholars and Islamic discussions. However, we must also ensure that we do not let AI replace personal effort in worship. Continue seeking knowledge through traditional means, including books and human scholars. Maintain sincerity and presence of heart in our prayers, supplications, and Quran recitation. Develop self-discipline so that our faith is not dependent on technology. At the end of the day, our faith is not defined by how advanced technology becomes. It is defined by our personal relationship with Allah. The Quran was revealed over 1,400 years ago, and the core principles of Islam remain unchanged. No matter how much technology evolves, the essence of our deen will always be based on sincerity, devotion, and effort. Use AI wisely, but never let it dictate your spirituality. A connection with Allah comes from the heart, not from an algorithm. Let technology be a support system, not a replacement for your personal journey of faith. True faith is not about how many tools assist you, but how sincerely you seek Allah with or without them. If you found this discussion eye-opening, subscribe for more thought-provoking Islamic content, or check out our next video on the future of Islam in an AI-driven world.